Hello everyone, welcome back to A State of Opinion Season 2. Season 2, you know.
Season 2, man.
It popped off episode 1.
Back at it, man.
Today we're going to be talking about... Oh wait, no, before we get onto that, I'm with my good friend, Kasper.
One will Kasper, man.
He's not friendly either, before we get to that.
Of course I am, man.
I'm
more friendly, of course I am.
No, he's friendly, he's friendly. But today, we're going to be talking about lockdown, all the streaming services that popped off, the games that popped off during lockdown, and just how, you know, as a person, as people, we doubt with lockdown in general. So, Kasper, during, like, you know, at the start of lockdown, when it first came on the news, when big old Joris Bonson was saying it, what did you do? Like, what was your first initial response?
I was currently at my mate's house, to be fair, just playing FIFA, chilling, man, whatnot. And I've heard the announcement, and we've just looked at each other like, no, it's actually happening. Like, it was all coming up to it on Facebook, on social media, whatnot, that we're going to go into lockdown. I'm thinking, no, this can't be happening. But it really did. And we was gutted, man. I can't even lie.
Nah, it was a tough time.
Literally, from there, all that we done was just chilled. Not really much. We'd link up for like shopping trips to go like Asda, get all the groceries and whatnot. And then probably play FIFA, and that was about it.
That Lockdown was enough, like
not really much, man. I was currently not really doing much as well. So yeah, just chilling, man. What about yourself?
Well, for me, obviously, I just finished year 11, so it was in March, and I remember the days, man. Like it was hectic. The last week of year 11, and they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna send you home. Like it's gonna be done. You're gonna be done with year 11. No exams." And we were like, "What? No exams? We just spent the past 5 years doing this for what reason, brother?" So obviously now we've gone home, and then I found out that I got into my college that I wanted to get into, and then we're just chilling. And next minute, you know, boom, lockdown, and we're like, rah. We can't go out, we can't link, like nothing's open, just essentials, you know what I mean? But then the worst thing for me was prom. I had big things planned, you know. My mom's gonna get a Hummer. Yeah, you know, one of them Jeep-looking limos from me and my two friends, Ramiko and Elliot, and then Matt and then Ahmad. We're all gonna put money towards it. Go prom in a Hummer. Step out the doors in slow motion.
Fresh,
you know what I'm saying?
Slow motion, fresh watch.
And it, fam, all that.
I see all of
and
it,
they were like,
man.
Nah, you ain't doing none of that. You ain't getting none of them privileges. You're gonna go home. You're gonna sleep. I was gutted, man. I was gutted. But then apps like House Party popped off, and then we're all on that like every day, all night up until like 1 o'clock in the morning, 2 o'clock in the morning. And then Disney Plus came about as well. Yeah. Disney Plus came about. Back then it was still a bit dead because they only put a few things on there. Yeah, I was watching that, bro. Yeah. Ultimate Spider-Man, flipping Lab Rats, Mighty Med, all them shows, man, from back in the day. But yeah, like. So we're coming up to the end of lockdown now. Well, you know, not the end, but like it's going downwards now. So what are your plans for like out of lockdown, and like what do you hope to do?
I hope to do a lot of things, really. I really want to get out there. I've missed just being out and about and doing what we do. Yeah. Hopefully do more stuff with Opalens Media. Just float about, do my thing, carry on with graphics, get back to work since I've had an accident. But and just hopefully...
Because the last thing we did was season 1, and that was just after I started college, so September. That was late September, and we did that, and we was hoping to do season 2 sooner, but then lockdown popped off again in October, November, December, just after Christmas, when it was like, oh yeah, you can go to each other's houses, and then after that, it was January, and then I'm not even going to touch on the whole e-learning thing, innit? That's for another day, another episode, but we'll get to that point, and we'll get to that point. That period of time was just so messy and so fumbled. Like, the work was just nasty, man. I just felt like a fever dream, man. I woke up, get on the laptop, I'm not going to get into it, but yeah, man. But flipping lockdown, I'm not going to lie. I kind of enjoyed it. Is that just me?
Yeah. You know what? It wasn't too bad in a way, because like, even though we had our little restrictions and whatnot, there'd always like be a way to sneakily see your mate on the way to the shop, you know what I mean? Speak to him and whatnot, have some interactions, you know what I mean? But obviously, it hasn't been too bad. It's let everyone think about what they're actually doing, like, and have a deep thought about life itself, you know what I mean? Because you like as a day-to-day basis where you're out and about, you don't really think about it. You go with the flow. In lockdown, you had to really think what your passions are to entertain yourself, to know what you're doing. Like me, myself, I love graphics design. So I was just on my laptop creating wallpapers and whatnot to keep myself entertained. And it really sharpened up my skills at that point there. And whatever you was doing in lockdown, then I reckon you definitely got a loads better because you had so much time to do it.
Like I had to like shoot this little video for my college thing, like for like it was like first piece of homework sort of thing, and I did that in lockdown. And I was thinking to myself, I was like, you know what, this is actually all right, you know. But working behind the camera is a lot different to working on the stage. Sure. You know what I mean? So it was very hard to kind of learn the lines and then say them back to the camera. And even then, we didn't even end up looking back at it, look at the file. You know what I'm saying? Because we had to download it onto a USB. We never ended up looking at that USB. It's still in my bag at home, actually. It's still there, just buried in the crevices, in the deep dark crevices of my bag, just there chilling. Never had to look at it, never. But also within lockdown as well, it came like to gaming as well. Gaming, popped off, especially GTA. GTA popped off different.
There was loads of updates. I don't really play it, man. I was playing Call of Duty, really. Like Black Ops come out, and then everyone was like, it's not really the one. Like, and then I was thinking, no, you know what? It's all right. And
Warzone popped off.
Warzone is the one.
Fortnite popped off, and then GTA came back into the fray as well. You know what I mean? And people were just on that constantly, and then, you know, like Rockstar and then Sony themselves were just making money, just pure money. And then, you know, Sony actually managed to release the PS5, you know what I mean? That I copped. I know some of y'all gonna be jealous by that. Just saying, cop that. So yeah, but it was really good, you know. It was really good, and like gaming tournaments here and there, and then just staying up late at night with your friends, but that can only continue so far. You know what I'm saying? Like, it drains you, and then eventually you don't even want to game anymore. You're just like, oh, it's taxing, bro. It's like it becomes more like a chore. You know what I mean? You don't even want to.
Like, oh, I've got to go shop to get another Monster.
Another energy drink. Why?
I'm killing myself.
Constantly going to the toilet just to game. You know what I'm saying? It's just long, man. It's just long, and then you're like, oh man, I've run out of food, run out of groceries, but you just want to stay home and chill. And then you gotta go there, and then you did some next long line, man. You did some next long line, just trailing back, and they're like, oh, we're only 2 people at a time. I'm like, what did we do? Like, God, what did we do to deserve this? Why have you put us in this situation for? Lockdown was just, it was 50-50 for me. It was good and bad. It let me find out a lot of stuff about myself, but in the process, I also just felt like bare isolated, you know what I mean? Bare isolated, days on end. At one point, I caught myself wearing the same tank top and shorts for like a whole 2 weeks. I'm not even joking. And before I knew it, I was like, fam, I'm so used to this stench.
I know, man. I just don't really care.
Just don't even care anymore until someone actually like comes into my house and is like, what's that smell? And I'm like, oh, my bad. Just go dash myself in the washing machine really quickly, you know what I'm saying? It got to that point, man. It got to that point. But what was like for like Warzone and that now, like gaming, what was that like for you? Like, did you actually like enjoy playing it like days on end, or did you just have to?
I'd have like little phases of like, I'd be like, all right then, let's play COD. And I'd play for days on days on days, like non-stop all day, all night. And then I'd get so bored of it, I'd just sit at home and like, you know, them balls that you see on TikTok, they stick to you like thing. I'd just throw them.
Oh yeah, I want one of them. I want some of them.
No, they're actually quite sick.
They look so fun.
Yeah, they are, man. They are. But they do take quite long to come down sometimes.
You just there waiting.
Yeah. Just lockdown vibes.
Lockdown vibes. Yeah. But when it got to that point as well, I forgot when it was. It was after a few of like Johnson's flipping like speeches. It was like, yes, we will be letting you go back outside, this and that, blah blah blah. After a few of them, it was just taxing. I was like, I don't even care anymore. And I remember I missed one of them when I eventually went back to my mum's. I missed one of them, and he was like, yeah, you're allowed to meet people outside. And I was like, seriously, you're allowed to meet people now? My mum was like, yeah, you're allowed to meet people. I was like, yes. I'm phoning up my boys like, yo, we're linking, bro. We're linking up, man. We're doing stuff. Like, what was your initial reaction to that then?
Oh, I've got a funny story about that as well. I've linked up with my mate to go and ride some BMXs at the Arboretum. And we're walking down the street and there's a big riot van like him in, and we're thinking, oh, like we like police team seem to like intimidate me and whatnot. You know me. So I'm walking down the street thinking, no, we're getting locked up, COVID restrictions.
No.
And then my mate's on the phone to his missus. She was like, yeah, it's all right. You can meet people and that. Mate, it was such a big relief.
Oh my gosh.
I felt like such a criminal. I'm just walking like, no, I know exactly what's happening.
Mama's trying to cover his head like this. So.
No, man.
Man, that must have been like actual. Like, I would have been scared in that situation.
I really
why you at your house for? Why you at your house for? Like,
yeah, just questioning, harassment. I'm like, no, please, just leave me be, man.
Why you got the BMX for to go to the middle? I'm like, just tased on the spot.
Gosh. Literally, man.
I'd have been frightened as hell. What else, man? Like,
what do you think about all like the statistics that we were told throughout lockdown and whatnot? Do you reckon it was all true or nah,
fake? Fake, because you know
honestly.
what? Corona came about, yeah, but there were obviously still people suffering from other things, you know what I mean? So when this came about, they used any excuse possible to make sure we stayed indoors. Yeah, they were like, over, I don't know, it's like 40,000 people have died. Yeah. When in reality, only 20,000 people have died from Corona, and the other 20,000 are just like people with like long-term illnesses.
Literally,
and whatnot.
I could actually like vouch for that because throughout lockdown and whatnot, some people have died throughout, like my friends' families and whatnot, and they've all died from reasons that have not come through COVID. Rest in peace to all of them, of course. Yeah. But they've all been put down as Corona like and whatnot. You mean, and I'm thinking that's not really like a right thing to do.
It's not.
So, judging by the statistics and whatnot, I don't really think it's as severe as it really like they say there is. I know that it's not like a not real thing because people have had it. I mean, like I know people that have had it, and it's a bad thing to suffer with. But I reckon something's not right now.
Something isn't right, and most of the time, it's just them people in power. Going back to this as well, it's like people in power. You know what I mean? They're like, oh yeah, let's say it was these people. Let's say it was this. Let's say it was Corona instead of saying what it actually was, and then we can make the public fear going outside even more, and then eventually get to that point where no one's going out, and then it dies down really quickly, and then we can get back out of lockdown instead of just being truthful. You know what I mean? Because then, what about when it actually does come back and it's even worse? That's you know what I mean? Like, they haven't told the truth.
No point to scare the people if people are gonna come like to terms with what you're scaring them with. You may as well like say the truth. I mean, and people come to that level, and then when it happens again, you can actually all understand the whole situation, how it's actually working out. I mean, people get confused, man, because there's some people that you go to the shop and they've got gloves, masks, and they don't want to be around no one, but then you've got people that just don't care, like him. And both of them are fine. I mean, so
people. Like I've seen it before. Like obviously, when the lockdown first came about, I wasn't one of them people wearing a flipping hazmat suit outside for like no particular reason. You know what I mean? I'm like, why are you wearing all that for? You're not hot. Like just a face mask will do for me. Probably the occasional gloves, something like that. But then
at the shop, if you see the plastic ones,
isn't it? Why not? Why not? Little cheeky glove. You know what I mean? But it's like gloves, face mask, and then I've got like hairnet on and like apron. I think I saw at one point. I was like
apron.
I was like, what? Or something like that. I was like, what's going on? What's this about then? But that was mainly just around the time when it first started. Now, I barely see people wearing the face masks. You know what I mean? I barely see any of that. It's just, a lot of people have a lot of different opinions because to me, Corona isn't anything that deadly. To me, it's just in a few years, it's going to get to that point where people are like, oh yeah, I had COVID the other day, but I'm fine now. You know what I mean? It's going to be like the occasional flu.
I reckon so. To be fair, there's a lot of people that do recover from it, to be fair.
Yeah, people have.
Like, loads of them. So,
people just like people recover from it, but like they may go to the hospital, but then they're labeled as having Corona still. You know what I mean? From experience anyway. Like I've had like extended family. Someone's mom died. Someone's mom died from it, but it wasn't Corona. What I'm talking about, it was not Corona. It was something else. But they labeled it as Corona.
That's what I mean.
Like, she beat Corona, but then she had to go back into hospital for something else that she picked up while she was in the hospital fighting for her life. You know what I mean? And then when she died, they were like, "Oh yeah, she died from Corona." And I was like, "What's the point?" You know what I mean? Like, why would you lie? Why would as people, as you know, doctors and nurses and the hospital itself, as people meant to help other people. You're not meant to lie. You know what I mean? You're meant to help the whole family feel
it's
safe.
supposed to be like a passion in their eyes. You mean like as a worker and whatnot. You mean and it's just not going right. But talking about passions, what are your passions and?
Like find out during lockdown and what?
Yeah.
Okay, it sounds hella it sounds hella childish, isn't it? But you remember when we were younger and like we used to take toys to school and whatnot? Yeah. Okay, I used to take Beyblades to school, innit? We all had them. Beyblades, fam. Beyblades. They were the ones. I've still got them. Ain't it? You know what I'm saying, fam? As like
the noise, you're like,
you hear it?
You go, man.
You hear the wind coming off it, brethren. Like literally, I used to obviously, I used to buy them in like small little bits, but at one point during year 6, I started buying them a lot, and then it kind of died down from like year 7 to 11. I just didn't really care anymore. But then during lockdown, I found some guy from Hong Kong, and I was just like, yo, he's selling some legit Beyblades. I'm like, he got the little Takara Tomy symbol right there. That means it's legit in it. And I'm like, yo, I might invest. So as of like the past 2 months, I probably bought about 10 Beyblades. 10.
You know what? It is a good investment, though.
It is, and I've still got the boxes as well, and I keep them in good condition. You know what I mean? They always buy me no matter what. Because in a few years, like in about 10 years, should I say something like
just
that?
Just like Pokemon cards, man.
Things like that will become so rare, and people will be like, "Yo, have you got this one?" I'm like, "Yeah, I've got it right here. I'll give you a mill for it right now." That's what I mean, say no more. Take it in it.
You never know. Could have the little what's the word called? The Holy Grail.
The Holy Grail, literally the Holy Grail.
Could have it right now. You mean you don't know, but
I'm just keeping them. I'm just building up my collection to find. I'm building up my collection and just keeping them right there, and then eventually someone's gonna come find me and be like, "Yeah, you've got that." You know what I mean? You've got that. For you, it was. I'm assuming it was biking, innit? Like biking during lockdown.
Mainly, to be fair.
Did you go out and like bike at all? Like since it's lockdown, I'm pretty sure no one can tell you anything, can it?
Yeah. Well, I think there was something like saying that you can't ride and whatnot, but it's quite stupid, really. I mean, you've got a helmet on, you isolated that. Like, I mean, even if you cough, you're coughing in your eye, not like onto someone. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it does happen. It's horrible, man.
You're coughing into your eye. I get it though, but like at the same time, it's weird because you're on a bike, you're safe, you're not harming anyone, and at the same time, it's like. It's the same with people who just want to go for a drive. Like actually, during it was about like say like May, June times. My mum took me out driving in our car, and I was learning to like drive because you know how all the car parks were just empty. I was just driving. I was just scaring everywhere, man. It was so fun, but I got really scared this one time because basically I think there was this guy doing illegal activities. I'm not gonna say what, but he literally pulled up. It was zooming straight at me, so I've had to go, and I've had to like stop the car.
Put reverse, Terry.
I've had to go back and everything, and he swerved around me, and I'm like, bro, I'm there looking around. My mom's just there sitting there, like, wow, that wasn't expected. I'm like, how are you so calm in this situation, woman? I'm like, what's going on? She's just sitting there, like, yes. I was like, okay. I'm just there stressing. I'm like, well, yo, I've got everything on me. I'm like, man, yo, it was one of them things where I was like. My life could have ended there, and I would have only seen 2020 as my last year. But you know what? I was fine, and it was blessed. Fam, I swear, lockdown, it best not happen again, you know? It best not happen, because I ain't got time for it. Because I will discuss this on another episode, but it's just, I don't want to go back to e-learning. That is PTSD for me, you know what I mean? It's PTSD
for me. I can imagine, to be fair, like waking up all half dead, like... grabbing your phone. Oh no, 2 minutes.
2 minutes. It was the sound, bro. Boom. I'm like, nah, I can't deal with it.
I've got the proper bad alarm. Just
no, it's
I do not wake up.
Every time I hear the noise now, every time I open my laptop and the noise comes on, because they've still got them labeled there just in case we ever need to go back. And I'm like, I can't deal with it. But you know what? This ain't for that episode. You know what I'm saying? This ain't for that episode. Speaking of which, actually, flipping, we're about to run out of time. But this was Myles, State of Opinions with
Kasper.
Yeah.
One Rule Kasper, the motorbike rider.
Don't give me joke. Okay. We'll see you next time. We hope you've enjoyed watching. Peace.
See you soon.